Good morning, everyone. Today I'm going to present plagiarism and the crisis of originality in higher education, causes, consequences, and control. So, this presentation examines plagiarism is not simply as academic dishonesty, but as a deeper issue connected to academic literacy, writing development, and institutional practices. I will explore why students plagiarize, what the consequences are, and how educational institutions can address the issue more effectively. Then, this is my academic information, table of content, research question. So my research question is how does insufficient academic literacy contribute to plagiarism in contemporary higher education? And my hypothesis argues that plagiarism often occurs not because of intentional dishonesty, but because students lack a full understanding of academic discourse conventions such as citation, paraphrasing, and source integration. Therefore, plagiarism can be significantly reduced through explicit instruction in academic writing practices rather than relying on only on punishment. Then originality in academic writing. This challenge is the common misunderstanding of originality. According to Haviland and Mullin, academic writing develops through engagement with previous scholarship. It is not about creating something completely new from nothing. Jamieson and Howard explains that writers construct meaning by positioning their arguments within existing conversations. So, originally meaning means contribution and interpretation within a disciplinary dialogue, not a isolated invention. So, this understanding is crucial before we label student writing as unoriginal. Then. Contemporary crisis. We are living in a digital age where information is abundant and easily accessible. So Murray argues that digital environments have reshaped how students read and compose text. So however, teachers often interpret textual similarities as a deliberate misconduct, as Emerson suggests. So, recent research by Jamieson and Howard shows that many cases are actually signs of incomplete literacy development rather than cheating. Thus, there is a crisis in how plagiarism is understood. And then page writing. Rebecca Moore Howard introduces the concept of page writing. Page writing happens when students reuse sentence structure from sources while trying to learn academic language. So it represents a development stage in acquiring disciplinary discourses. Rather than intentional cheating, it often reflects an effort to understand complex academic writing. This recognizes plagiarizing helps us to treat plagiarism as a learning issue. And next one is writing skill gap. So many students understand ideas, but they struggle to express them independently in academic form. So weak paraphrasing skills force students to rely heavily on original wording. So this appears as a unintentional plagiarism. So the problem is not intellectual incapacity, but it is linguistic and rhetorical limitation. This highlights the need for structured writing instruction. The next one is educational background. In many educational systems, schooling is based on memorization and reproduction of knowledge. Locastro and Masuka argues that students are trained to repeat authoritative knowledge. However, university writing demands interpretation, argument, and critical engagement. So, this sudden shift encourages coping when proper guidance is absent. Therefore, plagiarism is often a traditionally difficulty. Then, cultural and language factors. Different cultures view knowledge differently. Bennett explains that some traditions treat knowledge as collective rather than individually owned. Second language writers also depend on source wording due to linguistic constraints. These differences create misunderstanding about citation expectations. So, plagiarism can be influenced by cross cultural and linguistic factors. Then next one is the digital culture. Online culture normalizes remixing, sharing, or reusing information. Students grow up in that environments where copying and modifying content is common. However, academic writing still requires explicit attribution. So students are navigating two different literacy cultures. First is digital culture and second is academic culture. So this tension increases the confusion. Then misdiagnosing plagiarism. Institutional policies often frame plagiarism as purely dishonesty, but research shows that many cases are writing development problems. Howard argues that punishment alone rarely improves writing competence. If we misdiagnose plagiarism, then we apply the wrong solution. Education must come before the discipline. Then, learning consequences. Coping prevents deep engagement with the sources. Students are failed to develop academic voice and confidence. Instead of becoming contributors to the knowledge, but students remain information gatherers only. So, plagiarism affects not just ethic but intellectual growth. And then academic integrity impact. So citation allows verification to knowledge claims, and scholarly credibility depends on a proper attribution. Academic communities rely on acknowledgement system to build their trust. Therefore, plagiarism affects the entire knowledge system, not just individual students. Integrity is foundational to academia. And then limitation to detection tools. So similarity detection software can identify overlap, but it cannot teach writing skills. Surveillance based approaches may discourage intellectual risk taking, and students may focus on avoiding similarity instead of learning. Effective improvement requires pedagogical guidance, not just software monitoring. Then pedagogical control and assessment reform. Teaching citation and source integration helps students to participate in academic conversations. Academic literacy instruction prevents repeated errors, and education should precede punishment. Then assessment reform is also important. Drafting and feedback cycles encourage genuine engagement. Context based assignment reduce coping, and process oriented evolution supports originality. Thus control must be educational rather than punitive. And lastly, conclusion. So plagiarism in a higher education should be understood less as intentional dishonesty and more as a sign of incomplete academic literacy. Many students lack training in paraphrasing, source integration, and argumentation, so they rely on coping while trying to participate in academic discourses. Punitive and detection based methods therefore fail because they address behavior rather than learning. The solution lies in shifting from policing to teaching through writing instruction, guided practice, and development of authorial voice. Originality should thus be seen as a meaningful participation in scholarly conversations, not isolated inventions. And these are my references, and thank you.